Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Karimullah. I'm a consultant pediatric ENT surgeon here at FemCity Hospital. So today I'm going to speak to you all about hearing in children and the various problems and its effects on their behavior and development. Now as we all know, we all have 5 senses, and what are they? You have the sense of sight in the eyes, the sense of taste in the tongue, the sense of smell in the nose, the sense of touch in the skin, and finally the sense of hearing in the ear. Now why do we need these 5 senses? These 5 senses basically help us in interacting with our outside or surrounding world. Now coming to the sense of hearing, how important is this sense of hearing in our daily life and in our development? Now one interesting thing about the sense of hearing is when a baby in his mother's womb reaches the age of 20 weeks or 5 months, this is the first sense which is completely developed. So this means that a baby is able to hear even when it is in its mother's womb. So baby which is born starts hearing immediately after its birth. So the sense of hearing is one of the first senses which is totally developed in a child. The other senses, they take slightly longer time for development. Now why is hearing important in children? For this we have to understand how speech develops. Now development of speech and development of hearing in a child are not two separate things. Both of them are interrelated, or both of them are interconnected. For a child to learn to speak, it has to be able to hear. So a child which has any defective or abnormal hearing will have a defective or abnormal development of speech, sometimes even a lack of total lack of development of speech. Now going on to what can be the various reasons wherein a child can have a problem in hearing. Now as I have mentioned previously, hearing is totally developed at 20 weeks of intrauterine growth of the child. Now so any factors which affect the mother can also affect the child before its birth. For example, if there are any infections which the mother gets, any viral infections, if she is given any medicines for any fevers, for example any antibiotics like injection amikacin, then these drugs can have an effect on the hearing development of the child. At the time of birth, any trauma during delivery can also lead to hearing problems. Immediately after the delivery, if the child has any infections, for example meningitis, or if he has any raised bilirubin levels, for example any neonatal jaundice, these conditions also can affect the hearing because they damage the hearing structures in the ear. Now in a newborn, how do you know whether the hearing is normal, or rather how do you know whether the hearing is present or absent? Now as a part of policy in every hospital, including ours, we have included routine screening of hearing in every newborn child. This is done by a test called as OAE, or otoacoustic emission test in a child. This test gives us an idea of whether the hearing mechanism is functional or not functional. Now even this is not foolproof, but still it gives us some information. Apart from that, the behavior of the child can also give us an idea if there is any problem of hearing. For example, if the child sleeps through loud noise or doesn't get scared or startled when it listens to a sudden loud noise, then this should always raise a doubt of whether the hearing is normal or not. What are the problems that you have when a child does not hear right from its birth? The biggest problem would be that there will not be any development of speech. The child needs to hear well for him or her to develop speech. Now as we go further, as the child increases in age, the reasons differ in development of hearing problems. For example, if you have a child of around 2 or 3 years, this is when the child starts eating food other than the mother's milk. The child starts developing infections of the throat, infections of the nose. Now these infections of the throat and the nose can be transmitted to the ear, thereby leading to infections of the ear, which can present itself with pain in the ear or discharge in the ear. Many a times the child is unable to explain what he is facing. He might have episodes of crying, episodes of fever, episodes of irritation of the ear, which indirectly indicate that the child has infections of the ear. Sometimes the child has an outright discharge from the ear. As the child again grows to around 4 or 5 years, when he starts going to the school, the reasons for ear infections or the causes for ear infections increase in frequency and the incidence also increases for hearing problems. Again, the child might have pain in the ear or discharge in the ear. On the whole, these hearing problems, they have an effect, as I mentioned previously, on development of speech. Apart from that, there can also be effect on the school performance. Imagine a child who cannot hear properly. You cannot expect him to do well in his studies because he is unable to hear what the teacher tells him. So you have behavioral problems in such kind of children. Sometimes children with hearing problems display excessive hyperactivity, lack of attention, lack or inability to follow orders. So these are some of the problems, some of the behavioral problems that you have in children with hearing problems. Now, how do you manage them? Now, for example, if you have a child with a hearing problem right from birth, one of the first things that you need to find out is the hearing apparatus present, or are the neural connections from the ear to the brain present? And these are done by various tests, one of them the OAE that I have mentioned. Apart from that, you also have something which is called as BERA, brain evoked response audiometry. Then the child also needs to undergo scans and MRIs. How do you manage such kind of children? Many times such kind of children would require hearing aids right from day one of their birth. Sometimes hearing aids are not useful, then they might need to undergo a specialized surgery, and an implant is placed inside the ear which is called as a cochlear implant, which will bypass the ear and help the child in hearing. Now, as the child grows, as I mentioned previously, the most common reason for hearing problems are infections in the ear. Now, infections in the ear in children are very much related to upper respiratory tract infections, for example, repeated attacks of cold, or any allergies which the child has, or any infections of the tonsils, any infections of the adenoids. Many times children have the habit of introducing foreign bodies in this ear. Now, each of these conditions has its own specific treatment. For example, if the child has any allergies which are giving him repeated infections in the nose and the ear, then these allergies need to be managed. Now, if there are repeated infections in the throat, or repeated infections in the nose and in the tonsils and the adenoids, which are then going on to infections or to become infections of the ear, then these need to be managed individually. Similarly, in the age group of 4 or 5 years, every region has its own specific treatment. Now, what happens if you don't manage these conditions? Many a times I see parents considering these infections of the ear as routine instances in the child's growing life. Well, infections of the ear are never routine instances which are to be and they definitely need to be taken seriously, because as I have mentioned previously, any problems in the ear leads to problems in hearing, and problems in hearing leads to problems in development of speech and thereby his study performance and other interactions. Now, there are long-term complications of having repeated infections in the ear apart from development of speech. For example, the hearing mechanism can be damaged on a long-term basis, and it will be very difficult to repair it later. For example, you might have damages to the eardrum, you might have damage to the ossicles behind the eardrum, and these might require a surgery in the future. Sometimes these infections become so serious that they can give rise to complications wherein the infection spreads to the brain. Now, these infections, if they are diagnosed in the very initial stages, are very simple to manage, and once you successfully manage these infections, there are no long-term sequelae, which I have mentioned previously. So in the end, I would like to once again reiterate that hearing problems in children are nothing to be taken very easily. They need to be given their due importance because they have long-term effects on the growth and development of the child. They also have short-term effects, which may or may not be corrected, but the long-term effects generally are very difficult to correct. Hope this information useful, and if you still have any queries, you can always come down to our hospital and clarify them. Thank you.